One day, while I was waiting for my grandson Alex to visit, I heard the sound of police sirens outside. Feeling a sense of unease, my cell phone rang.
Victoria, Alex was in an accident and has been rushed to the hospital in the next town.
James hurriedly ended the call, and I couldn't immediately process what he said. Not knowing what to do, I quickly called a taxi to head to the hospital where Alex was taken.
Victoria, I'm glad you made it safely.
Yes, but how is Alex?
He's in surgery right now. They said his life isn't in danger.
Really? That's such a relief. A few hours later, the doctor and nurse came out of the operating room and informed us that the surgery was successful. My anxiety and tension instantly turned into relief, and James and I thanked the doctor repeatedly.
You're welcome.
Leaving those words behind, the doctor walked away, while the nurse stayed behind.
Well, here are Alex's belongings from when he had the accident.
The nurse handed us Alex's tote bag and smartphone.
Looks like Alex was on his way back from the supermarket.
James showed me the contents. Inside the bag were onions, ground meat, eggs, and other ingredients needed for hamburgers. What? Hey,
Yes?
I felt something was off about the groceries Alex had bought. Why would Alex? I am Victoria. My husband passed away a long time ago, so now I live alone. But I am not lonely.
Grandma, is this enough cheese?
Yes, that's fine. You've really become good at cooking. That's because my grandson, Alex, often comes over to visit me. Today, he came over asking to learn how to cook, and we're making mac and cheese together. At first, his knife skills were clumsy, but now he's gotten remarkably better.
Oh, Dad just finished work. He said he'll be here in about 30 minutes.
Oh, James got off work early today. Well then, let's all eat together. James, Alex's father, is my daughter Laura's husband. When Alex comes to visit, James usually comes over for dinner after work. That's because my daughter Laura disappeared a few years ago. Laura was a kind girl, and she always had dinner ready for me when I got home from work. When she became a high school student, she started a part-time job and tried to contribute to the household finances. Well, I didn't accept it, but she bought me a very nice bag for my birthday, which I still cherish and use. Laura married James, and when Alex was in elementary school, she disappeared without any warning. We filed a missing persons report, but the police didn't take it seriously, considering it a domestic issue, and we couldn't find her despite our efforts. I didn't know where she was, what she was doing, or even if she was alive. My mind was a mess with worry, anxiety, and the responsibility of a mother who needed to scold her properly.
Hi.
How was your day, Dad? It's already done.
James returned home, and Alex greeted him happily. The mac and cheese Alex made smelled delicious. James took one look at it and patted Alex on the head.
It looks delicious.
Dad, stop it. I'm in high school now.
Alex frowned and brushed his hand away, but he didn't seem entirely displeased. Watching the two of them made me smile, but it also brought a slight feeling of guilt. Where could Laura have gone, leaving behind such a treasure?
Let's eat. Oh, it's delicious.
Alex, who had been waiting hungrily, couldn't wait for James to sit down and started eating first. He always eats so heartily that it fills me with joy. He's a growing high school boy, so he needs to eat a lot. After James sat down, I started eating too. Today's dinner is mac and cheese and salad. The mac and cheese Alex made was delicious. The salad I made only had greens because all three of us disliked tomatoes, but they both ate it happily.
Alex, how's school been lately? Are you used to high school now?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to the commute. Have friends, no problems. Oh, Grandma, can we have hamburgers for dinner tomorrow night?
Tomorrow? Sure. Don't you want to hang out with your friends?
No, learning to cook is more important.
Alex used to visit about once a week, but the visits gradually increased, and now he comes over almost every day after school. He doesn't seem to be in any clubs, and when I ask why, he just says he wants to learn to cook and doesn't elaborate. I think he should enjoy his once-in-a-lifetime high school experience more, but it's his way of being considerate. Thanks to that, the three of us get to have dinner together and enjoy lively evenings. Except for that one empty seat. One day, Alex contacted me during the day.
I'll come over at 5 p.m. to make dinner.
Alex usually contacts me in the evening. Did his school finish early today? Maybe he's hanging out with friends in the afternoon and will come later. I thought casually. I was home all day, so there was no issue, and I replied, "Got it." But evening came and Alex didn't show up. It's usually no later than 6 p.m. when the doorbell rings, but it was already past 7 p.m. I started to worry and called him, but he didn't answer. When I stepped outside, I heard police sirens in the distance. That sound gave me a bad feeling, and at the same time, I overheard my neighbors talking nearby. A high school student involved in a car accident? No way. A sense of dread grew inside me, making my spine tingle, and I felt dizzy. At that moment, my cell phone vibrated in my pocket. With trembling hands, I looked at the screen and saw it was a call from James. "Hello."
Victoria, I just got a call that Alex was in an accident and has been rushed to the hospital in the next town. I'm heading there now. I need you to come too. The address is...
James hurriedly ended the call. My legs gave out, and I sank to the ground. My husband passed away. Laura disappeared, and now Alex. I could only feel fear as people around me kept disappearing. I wish it had been me in that accident instead of Alex. Then I could see everyone and live happily with my family again. Such thoughts kept coming to mind, and I was horrified by my own thinking. I realized my mind was nearing its limit. I can't bear losing another loved one. Summoning all my strength, I stood up, called a taxi, and headed to the hospital James mentioned. I pushed aside the dark thoughts that had been swirling in my mind and just prayed for Alex's safety. The journey to the hospital, which should have taken about 10 minutes, felt like hours to me. As soon as I got out of the taxi, I hurried to the waiting room James had told me about. When I opened the door, James was sitting in a chair, staring at the floor with a sigh. He looked up when he noticed I had entered.
Victoria, I'm glad you made it safely.
"Yes, but how is Alex?"
He's in surgery right now. They said his life isn't in danger.
Really? That's such a relief. I felt a sense of relief and sat down next to James. I noticed his suit was wrinkled, indicating he had rushed here.
I'm sorry for calling you out so suddenly. I couldn't bear waiting alone.
I understand. I couldn't just wait at home either. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
I just hope the surgery goes well. It was already dark outside, and even the hallway lights were off. The red light indicating surgery in progress glowed ominously, which made me even more anxious. I don't know how much time passed, but my hands were freezing by the time the red light went out. A few minutes later, the door to the operating room opened, and the doctor and a nurse appeared. James stood up and rushed over to the doctor.
Doctor, how is Alex?
He's still unconscious, but he's going to be fine. I don't think there will be any lasting effects. Alex did great.
Really? That's such a relief. Thank you so much.
I stood up and thanked the doctor as well.
You're welcome. He'll need to stay here until he regains consciousness and recovers a bit more, so please prepare his things.
Yes, we will. Thank you very much.
The doctor waved lightly and left the room. He looked very reliable from behind, and I thought that I could continue to entrust him to treat Alex.
Well, here are Alex's belongings from when he had the accident.
The nurse handed James Alex's tote bag and smartphone.
Excuse me.
Then the nurse followed the doctor.
Alex was on his way back from the grocery store. Really, I can't help but love him.
James showed me the contents of the bag with a sad smile. Inside were onions, ground meat, eggs, and other ingredients needed for hamburgers. And on top of everything was a slightly squashed, bright red tomato. What? I noticed something odd. Why would Alex buy a tomato? None of us can eat it. Neither Alex, James, nor I liked tomatoes. The only one in the family who could eat tomatoes was Laura. As this question crossed my mind, Alex's smartphone received a notification. It was a chat notification from social media, showing the contact's profile picture. However, the phone was locked with a password, so we couldn't see the content. His friend, maybe?
I recognize this picture. Could it be?
James muttered as if he had a sudden realization and tried to unlock the phone. Hey, isn't it a bit intrusive to look without permission? Ignoring my words, James entered 0621. Then, the lock screen opened. That number.
It's Laura's birthday. Alex has been asking a lot about Laura lately, so I thought maybe.
James tapped on the recent notification to check the message.
This park in the photo was Laura's favorite. We used to go there a lot on weekends with Alex.
Scrolling through the chat history, James spoke with certainty.
The person he's chatting with is Laura.
No way, it can't be. James showed me the definitive chat messages.
Didn't you say you have a son?
Yes, he's about your age.
I'm sorry for hiding this, but my name is Alex. After talking with you so much, I'm sure now. You are Laura, my mother, right?
Alex? Is it really you, Alex?
At first, Laura was skeptical, But as she listened to him more, she became convinced, and their conversation grew more lively. They talked about recent school events, about James, and about me as well. However, Laura repeatedly insisted that Alex must not tell us about her. Laura seemed very cheerful in their chats, which reassured me as a parent, but I was more curious than ever why she had disappeared.
This is the latest conversation.
James showed me the messages from yesterday and today.
School ends in the morning today. Can I come to your place?
Sure, but keep it a secret from everyone.
Yeah, I'll come by in the afternoon then.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Now I understood why Alex had bought a tomato. Alex had been in contact with Laura through social media for a while, and once he was sure she was his mother, he planned to visit her today with a tomato she likes. Indeed, the place where Alex had the accident was in the opposite direction of my house.
Alex, it's already evening. What's going on? Are you okay?
Messages like this had been coming in since early afternoon. Then I saw the latest notification.
I'm sorry. I suddenly felt unwell, so I'm heading to the hospital now. Can we meet another time?
That was the last message of the day. I felt a mix of emotions. I was relieved that Laura was alive, yet also sad and confused about Alex's accident.
From this profile, it looks like Laura lives nearby.
Really?
Yes. Since she said she was going to the hospital today, it might be this one.
That's right. This is the only major hospital around here. Hearing James' thoughts made my body heat up suddenly. I might see Laura for the first time in years. Alex would surely be thrilled too. But before that, I needed to confirm the facts with Alex. I went home and fell asleep, praying for Alex's recovery and Laura's safety. For the next few days, we took turns watching over Alex and searching for Laura. Even when we asked the reception desk, they couldn't give us any patient information, so we started asking patients directly. One day, James burst into Alex's hospital room, out of breath.
Victoria, I found out. Laura is admitted in room 505 of this hospital. She's been in and out of the hospital for the past few years.
What? Is she sick?
We don't know yet. But
James slowly turned to Alex, who was still unconscious. He gently held Alex's limp hand.
finally, this day has come. I can see Laura. Right, Alex? You want to see your mom too, right? Thank you for finding her.
James repeatedly expressed his gratitude to Alex, tears streaming down his face.
Victoria, I'm going to Laura's room now. What about you?
Go ahead. I'll stay here with Alex.
Thank you. I'll be back soon.
With a slightly red nose, James left the room. Honestly, I wanted to see Laura as soon as possible too, but I held back. I wanted James and Alex to have this moment because they had both worked so hard for Laura, endured so much loneliness, and now their tears showed their deep love for her. I was genuinely happy as a mother to see how much they cared for Laura. I didn't want to interfere with their reunion. After that, as I was tending to the flowers in Alex's room, I heard a faint voice.
Grandma.
I turned towards the bed, thinking it couldn't be, and saw Alex's eyes slightly open. Seeing this, I immediately rushed to his side. Alex, I'm so glad. Wait, I need to call the nurse right away.
Where's Dad?
Oh, right. I need to contact James too.
Where is he?
He's at work right now. He had an important meeting he couldn't miss.
I see.
Alex murmured and smiled. But he'll come right away once he hears you've woken up. I didn't know why I lied about James being at work, but I thought it was important to confirm things about Laura with Alex first. I felt a bit guilty making Alex talk when he had just woken up and was still struggling to breathe. Then the doctor and nurse came in, and I had to leave the room for the examination. Soon after, James arrived.
Is it true he woke up?
Yes, the doctor is with him now.
Thank goodness. That's such a relief.
I noticed that James's face was even redder than before, and his eyes were slightly swollen. What about Laura?
Well, I did meet her, but
But what? James struggled to find the words and avoided making eye contact. Finally, he confessed.
Laura doesn't have much time left.
What? No.
She's been suffering from a severe illness for about 5 years now. The fact that she's still alive is a miracle. When Alex had his accident, she was also rushed to the hospital.
James tried to smile, but it was a sad and pained expression. After finally finding her, having to say goodbye so soon is just too sad.
The moment I saw her, Laura scolded me. She said she left because she didn't want to cause any trouble.
Laura was always so kind.
I took advantage of her kindness, but I should have realized sooner. I failed as a husband.
Don't blame yourself. Laura wanted you all to be happy. I'm sure of it.
You're right.
James's self-reproach mirrored my own feelings. Laura was always so kind and selfless. That's why we should have been more attentive. We should have looked harder for her, like Alex did. But it's too late for regrets. So, I want to make the remaining time meaningful for Laura and Alex. I resolved to do just that, clenching my fist tightly. A few days later, Alex fully regained consciousness and began his rehabilitation.
Being in the hospital is boring. I'm feeling better and want to get back to school soon.
Alex said nonchalantly. It might be time to talk. I decided to bring up the topic of Laura. By the way, Alex, where were you headed that day? It was in the opposite direction of my house.
Oh, that. I was going to the supermarket in the next town. It's big and cheap, but it's far from your place, so I thought I'd go there.
His eyes were shifty as he said that. Alex, tell me the truth.
The truth? What do you mean, Grandma, all of a sudden?
I'm sorry, Alex, but we know everything. You were going to see Laura that day, weren't you? Alex's shoulders jerked, and he looked at me in surprise.
How do you know? Did you go through my phone without permission?
He glared at me with a look that said, "You've got to be kidding me." I had never seen Alex look at me like that before, and it surprised me a little, but I knew I couldn't back down now. I'm sorry about that. A notification came in while you were sleeping, so...
But still, you shouldn't have. No, it's not your fault, Grandma. Sorry for raising my voice.
Alex's shoulders slumped, and he looked out the window.
When I was in middle school, Dad would have nightmares at night, calling out, "Laura, Laura." So I felt like I had to do something and started searching.
Alex began to speak slowly.
At the time, I thought it was impossible to find her. Honestly, finding Mom's account was a miracle. I looked at her posts, chatted with her, and became sure.
How did you know for sure?
Mom has a scar on her wrist, right?
Yes, she burned herself with a frying pan when she was young, and it never went away. When Laura was in middle school, she greeted me with a bandaged wrist when I came home from work, and I was shocked. I rushed her to a dermatologist who prescribed an ointment, but it left a permanent scar. She didn't seem bothered by it, but I always felt guilty.
There was a picture of a drink posted on her account, and you could see that scar, and her hobbies and her love for tomatoes. Everything matched.
Alex spoke with a bit of pride. Children's reasoning and determination can sometimes surpass that of adults.
That day, we talked a lot and confirmed each other's identities, so I went to see her. On the way, a car hit me.
So that tomato was for.
Yeah, for Mom. She eats tomatoes every day. I wanted to bring her the best ones. Sorry for not telling you.
It's okay. I gently patted Alex's head.
But I'm in high school now.
Alex muttered shyly, but I pretended not to hear.
I really wanted to tell you and Dad sooner, but Mom insisted I shouldn't. Maybe she didn't even want to see me.
That's not true.
It is. Mom seemed to be hiding something, but I still want to see her.
Alex's determined eyes met mine, and I felt a bit intimidated. I still haven't seen Laura. If Laura left to avoid causing trouble, visiting her now would undermine all her efforts over the years. So while James has been visiting her frequently since then, I've asked him not to let her tell that I know about it. Laura has been unwell since being rushed to the hospital. If Laura wants to keep her condition a secret from Alex, I can't take him to see her.
Hey, where's Dad today?
Well, work.
That's a lie. I know he took time off. He's visiting Mom, isn't he? Is she in this hospital now?
Why do you think that? Alex's question made me break into a cold sweat. My response could change their future.
I overheard he talking to a nurse in the hallway. Please, I want to see Mom. Let me go see her.
But
Please, Grandma. You want to see her too, right? Let's go together. And don't forget the tomatoes.
Alex's straightforward words left me speechless, and before I knew it, I was standing in front of room 505 with him, holding some tomatoes. Alex knocked on the door. From inside, I heard Laura's familiar voice.
Mom.
Alex opened the door and immediately went to Laura, who was lying in bed. In that instant, Laura hid her face under the blanket. James, who was standing nearby, turned to us in surprise.
Alex, how did you?
Mom, I'm sorry. I couldn't make it to you that day. I broke my promise. I'm so sorry.
Alex, stop. This person, she's not Laura.
Mom, I've learned to cook so many things with Grandma's help. I can make anything you want.
Alex, enough.
Alex tried to pull the blanket away, while James desperately tried to stop him.
Ouch!
But Alex must have touched an injured part, as he cried out and clutched his arm. James also looked worried and stopped moving.
Mom, why won't you look at me? I'm in high school now.
I can't let you see me like this.
I'm sorry, Mom. I knew you were sick for a long time. You pushed yourself to see me that day, didn't you? You're not a burden. Please.
Alex slowly pulled the blanket back. James didn't stop him anymore. There she was, unmistakably Laura. Years had passed, but her features hadn't changed. However, she was noticeably thin, pale, and obviously unwell.
Long time no see, Alex.
Laura looked at Alex with eyes that seemed to see a treasure, yet there was a hint of sadness.
You've grown so much. Don't cry like that. I hid away because I didn't want to make you look like this. I didn't want you to see me like this.
You're not uncool. I'm sorry, Mom.
Why are you apologizing? I should be the one apologizing. I was so surprised when you contacted me, but I was happy. I'm sorry for leaving you alone.
I wasn't alone. I had Dad and Grandma.
That's true. Thank you, Mom. I'm sorry for disappearing suddenly.
Really, you're something else. I'll have to give you a proper scolding later.
Oh no, Mom's lectures are so long.
Laura joked, laughing. Though she looked frail, inside she was still the same kind and strong person she always was. She was a very kind person who always put others before herself. I never noticed the pain and loneliness hidden behind that smile. But now I understand. You're smiling now, but later, when we're gone, you'll regret it, won't you? You'll think it would have been better if we hadn't met again. By meeting, it leaves lingering feelings and makes the farewell even sadder. You're afraid of showing us your suffering and causing us trouble more than anything. But still, we need to tell you. It's the only way we can atone for letting Laura fight alone all these years. Laura, I'm so glad to see you. I won't let you go anywhere on your own again.
Okay.
It's all right. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're amazing no matter what. Let's enjoy our time together, all of us.
Thank you.
Her voice was so soft it was almost inaudible. But it reached my ears clearly.
Oh, I brought you some tomatoes, Mom.
The somber atmosphere suddenly brightened. Children have a remarkable power.
Really? Let's all eat them together.
But everyone else doesn't like tomatoes.
Come on, no one should have picky tastes. We'll all overcome it together.
At Laura's encouragement, we all ate tomatoes together. Alex seemed to have already gotten over his dislike of tomatoes and ate them with gusto. James and I hesitated at first, but as we forced ourselves to eat, memories of Laura flooded back, and we all cried as we ate. For the first time in my life, I thought tomatoes were delicious. Laura's health improved a little, but then worsened again, a cycle that repeated itself. A week after our reunion, Laura passed away. Until she lost consciousness, she talked a lot to make up for the time we had been apart. And in the end, we were all together as a family. After that, Alex was discharged and was able to attend the funeral, walking normally. Following Laura's wish for a modest gathering, we held a family funeral and prepared plenty of tomatoes. We explained everything about Laura's situation to James's parents and apologized. They were very kind and offered their support. Though the number of attendees was small, it wasn't a simple affair. Each person loved Laura dearly, and she was a source of pride for us all. Since then, Alex and James have moved in with me. We learned from Laura the importance of spending time together, From now on, I want to be together always. But I still carry a lot of regret. While I was happy to see Laura one last time, the sadness of losing her right in front of me was overwhelming. Above all, I hated myself for not knowing about her illness and not being able to do anything for her. One day, Alex brought me some tomatoes and said,
I want to be a doctor, a farmer, or a chef. I want to save people like Mom if I become a doctor, grow tomatoes that made Mom happy if I become a farmer, and make people smile with the dishes you taught me if I become a chef.
Alex,
Watch and see what I become. So you need to stay healthy until then. Here, have the tomatoes. See you later.
with that, Alex went back to his room. Sometimes, children touch the deepest parts of our hearts. But it's also true that Alex has been saving me. Maybe I'll make pasta with this tomato today. Before I knew it, our family had become one that loves tomatoes.